It turns out that just measuring a person's walking speed can help doctors determine who might eventually develop the disease. There are special networks inside the brain, and recent studies have shown that deterioration in these networks can lead to dementia. But experts say that early detection of a decline in brain power and taking countermeasures could help prevent dementia. People age. Cognitive functions, including memory and judgment, gradually weaken. But if the decline is fast and cognitive functions fall below a certain level, the result is dementia. MCI is between dementia and what's considered normal. Many people in this range are at risk of dementia. Studies are underway around the world on ways to prevent MCI patients from developing full-blown dementia. Researchers in the United States tracked 600 elderly people with MCI to see how many would develop dementia. Within 5 years, about 50% of the subjects did. But 40% did not progress beyond MCI, and the remaining 10% actually returned to the normal range. In other words, half of the subjects did not develop dementia. A study led by Washington University in the US has focused on the strength of network connections. The researchers checked how the connection strength changes as people move from normal functioning to MCI and then dementia. They found that connections in people with MCI were weaker compared with people in the normal range. Aging alone could not explain the difference. As MCI progresses to dementia, the connections start deteriorating much faster. So spotting a weakening in brain networks as early as possible holds the key to early detection of MCI. The one suspected of having MCI takes comparatively shorter steps. And the person who may have MCI doesn't distribute his body weight evenly on his feet and is likely to wobble. The researchers studied walking-related data on 27,000 people from 17 countries around the world. They looked for a relationship between walking and the risk of developing dementia. The results showed that those who walk slower than a certain speed are 1.5 times more likely to develop dementia. And if they're also aware that their memory has declined, the likelihood doubles. Research aimed at keeping brain networks from deteriorating is moving forward. Let's take a closer look at how brain networks function. Neurons convey information as electrical signals. They're powered by nutrients and oxygen from surrounding blood vessels. Damage to neurons and blood vessels causes brain networks to deteriorate. Scientists have been paying closer attention to microbleeding. It happens when capillaries become fragile and minor bleeding occurs. Microbleeding causes surrounding neurons to die one after another, damaging brain networks. High-resolution brain scans can reveal tiny dark spots. They are areas of microbleeding. In fact, researchers know microbleeding becomes more frequent as people progress from MCI to dementia. Finding a way to make capillaries less prone to microbleeding might keep neurons from dying, and that would benefit brain networks. Art Kramer has discovered an effective way to strengthen brain networks that have weakened. He found that the connections between circuits improved in people who followed a certain regimen for 1 year. It's amazingly simple. Just walk. But how you walk is the key. Kramer says people should take a 1 hour-long walk that's brisk enough to speed up breathing and their heart rate 3 times a week. That's enough to cause a surprising change in the brain's blood vessels and neurons.
So it's a fairly modest investment of effort in terms of the exercise to walk a little faster, but not very fast, and to walk a bit more than they normally walk.
Moderate exercise, such as brisk walking, stimulates the body to release greater amounts of a protein called vascular endothelial growth factor, or VEGF. It promotes the formation of new blood vessels to replace damaged ones. Walking faster also stimulates the secretion of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. This protein promotes the generation of new neurons. Researchers believe this is why brisk walking boosts brain network connectivity.
Connectivity certainly shifts to what it would look like in a younger person. And in some ways, it looks like their brain is becoming healthier as it was when they were younger, yes. People just walking 3 hours a week, that's all they did.
Researchers in Finland conducted something called the Finger Study. This large-scale preventive research project looked at 1,260 elderly participants, including people with a higher risk of dementia. This study also found that brisk walking and other exercises are helpful in preventing dementia when used in combination with other measures.
I would say that this is the strongest evidence we have now that we can at least postpone the onset of cognitive impairment.
We visited one woman who took part in the Finger Study. Ua Vahakangas lives in Helsinki by herself. She began a program that gradually modified her lifestyle. Exercise plays a fundamental part. She walks at a fast pace for about 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. She also began mild strength training exercises, and she improved her diet, cutting down on meat and salt, and eating more fish. And vegetables. They're rich in antioxidants and help prevent damage to neurons. In addition, she is careful not to consume too much butter. Instead, Ua maximizes her intake of olive and other vegetable oil. Tracking her blood pressure is another daily task. Keeping hypertension at bay helps prevent microbleeding and protect brain networks. She also plays a 10-minute memory game 3 times a week. It requires concentration and helps stimulate her brain.
Oikein. Hyvä.
Bravo, minä. I'm fit both mentally and physically since I started improving my lifestyle. I'd feel something was missing if I didn't exercise. The dementia prevention program has now become part of my life. I can't get by without it. I would grow restless if I missed it, even for 1 day.
For 2 years, Ua and other participants with a higher risk of dementia made these lifestyle modifications to safeguard their neurons and blood vessels. Their cognitive function improved by 25% on average, compared to people who didn't participate. The study actually succeeded in improving something that typically declines with age.
And we could still see that it's possible to improve the memory and decrease the risk of cognitive impairment. So that was really positive surprise for us. So I normally say it's never too late to start to prevent dementia.
Let's look again at the measures in the finger study. The researchers found they had a stronger preventive effect when done in combination, rather than one by one. If walking briskly or doing other exercise isn't possible, it's okay. Eating a better diet and controlling blood pressure are also beneficial.